been added to SAM4 Online as a teacher, the most important aspects of this platform will be available to you here on the left-hand side under teaching. And those are Auscultation Player, classes, course templates, and gradebook. So let's start with the Auscultation Player. Auscultation Player is a virtual mannequin which allows you to play auscultation sounds. Here in the upper right hand corner, you can open up the sound library, which will allow you to make your selection for the desired auscultation sounds. It's been divided into heart, brewy, combination sounds, so heart and lung sounds, breath sounds, as well as bowel sounds. So let me make a selection for the purpose of this video. I'm going to choose one heart sound, for example, aortic stenosis, and then I'll go ahead and choose a second sound, for example, a lung sound, coarse crackles. If you would like to start playing the auscultation sound, click on one of the anatomical locations on the virtual mannequin. Once the sound is playing, you can pause it anytime to highlight a particular aspect of a murmur. You can stop it completely. You can switch between male and female virtual mannequins. You can manipulate the volume controls for each of the locations. And you can also choose how much information should be displayed on the virtual mannequin. Please note that the blue circles you are seeing here are echocardiogram videos. Those are not available with the standard subscription of SAM4 Online. They belong to the upgrade package. The clinical upgrade package consists, other than echocardiogram videos, of real sounds, which are real patient recordings and have been marked with the dot in the auscultation library. They also consist of clinical case studies. Now let's move on to the course templates. Course templates or cardionics templates is a readily available content which you as an educator can use to plan your lectures. There are several lessons within each template. For example, for mitral heart sounds, there are 5 lessons. And let me click on one of those lessons. Here you can see the overview that for mitral valve prolapse, there is a reading, which consists also of 2 auscultation sounds, which can be played on the virtual auscultation player. There is a quiz, which summarizes the student's knowledge, and there are also clinical case studies. So if your institution has purchased the upgrade package, which consists of real sounds, case studies, and echocardiogram videos, your students will be able to access those, and you can use them for your lectures. So now let's move on to a more practical example. I'm going to create a class. Here I went into classes and I'm going to click on create class in the upper right hand corner. And I'm just going to give it a name. I will change the end date. And here I am presented with a choice whether I can duplicate from a previous class that has already been created, or whether I would like to create a completely new class, which is what I'm going to do. I will mark a few templates with ready content for that particular class, and I'm going to click create. As you can see, our class has been created. Here you can add description for the class. You can edit the end date. You can also share access details with your students. You can invite them via the invite code. And you can also choose to share a link with them, or you can send them a QR code. Here underneath, there is the lessons tab, which is the lessons that have been copied from Cardionics templates. Don't worry, if you don't want to use a particular lesson, you can simply delete it. You can also go into a lesson and modify it. You can delete pieces of text and replace them with your own. You can add sounds from the Cardionic sound library, and then you can save it for your students so that your lesson has been modified according to your wish. You can do the same with quizzes as well as case studies. And again, please note that case studies are available as an additional upgrade, and the upgrade consists of case studies, echocardiogram videos, and real sounds. Now let's move on to the last aspect of the teaching, which is the gradebook. The gradebook allows you to assess the student's knowledge. Here I have just created a test, but no one has taken that test. For this reason, you see here on the pie chart that everything is light gray, which represents a pending test. If your student had taken the test, there would be a lot more green for those who passed, or red for those who failed, or dark gray for those who haven't taken the test yet or not or didn't submit the result. Underneath, there is a list of students with their individual status, grade, and date when they submitted the test. If you have been added as a faculty or admin to SAM4 Online, the most important aspects of your organization will be available here on the left-hand side. And those are staff, students, settings, and license or review. So let's start with staff. If you would like to add a staff member, you need to click on the button that says Add Staff Member in the upper right hand corner, provide their name, surname, email address, and desired language. Here at the bottom, you're also given a choice of whether that particular staff member should be a faculty, admin, or an instructor. In this case, I'm going to add an instructor. Clicking on the Add Staff Member, done. Just a tip, the invitation should arrive in the inbox of that person, but if it hasn't, you can always go back to this menu and click on Resend Invitation. Another tip, please don't forget to assign classes. If you added a staff member, whether it is an admin or a teacher, you should always make sure that they joined a desired class by ticking the correct class here. Otherwise, they won't be able to join any classes. In a very similar way, we can move on to the Students tab. Here, each admin can add students. They can do so either individually by adding them individually one by one, or they can use an import function. For this, you need to click on Import Students, and then you'll be taken to a little menu that asks you to fill in an Excel template. Click on the little word here, open up the Excel spreadsheet, which has been automatically downloaded in the meantime, and fill in this Excel spreadsheet following the structure, where the first name of the student is in this column, last name is here, student ID is here, and email address is here. Once you've filled in, saved, and uploaded the list of students, they will be available, or the full list of students will be available here under the Students tab. Now let's move on to the settings. Here under the settings menu, you can change the default language of your institution, and you can change the time zone. The last menu option is the license overview. If you click on it, you can see how many staff members have been added, how many students have been added, and what's the number of total users. Please be advised that for each SAM4 online license, there are 200 seats available, which can be freely allocated either to staff members or students. If you have decided to purchase the clinical upgrade package, which consists of case studies, real sounds, and echocardiogram, you will see the information about until when they are valid. And here at the very bottom, you will also see the information about when your SAM subscription will expire. If you have been added to SAM4 Online as a student, you can go to www.sam4online.com and log into the platform using your login credentials. After you've signed in, on the left-hand side, you will see the list of classes that you have been added to. I'm going to go into Introduction to Clinical Medicine as an example. Here you can see a list of available lessons for that particular class. For example, let's go into acute pericarditis. Here you can deep dive into the particular aspects of that lesson. You can read about that particular condition. You can play the auscultation sound on the interactive auscultation player. You can move on and consolidate your knowledge by doing the quiz, or you can play the case studies, which consists of a video and a patient summary, as well as the auscultation sound, which again can be played on the auscultation player. Anytime you can see the overview of your classes, and you can also join a new class. If your teacher has shared an invite code with you, you can type in that code here, and then you'll be automatically added to a new class. Last but not least, you can always access the auscultation player. There is no limitation whether you are a beginner or a more advanced student. You can always open up the auscultation library. You can choose what kind of sound you would like to play on the auscultation player, and you can pause the sound. You can switch between female and male mannequin. You can manipulate the volume controls of the virtual mannequin, and you can also choose how much information should be displayed on the virtual mannequin.